Hello my dear friends, this is a PaintyKat. My name is Catherine. Today we're going to paint composition with acrylic on a canvas. It's gonna be cardinal birds on a winter wreath. But before we will paint some interesting detail, we have to think about background. And I wanna demonstrate to you, I wanna talk to you how to create really interesting looking background, and it's gonna be wooden plank. I think it's some kind of old wood door. Imagine it's like a door in a very old village house, small village house. So colors we need today for the start, it's a titanium white, it's yellow medium, and also it's umber burnt. I'm starting to paint with a flat brush with a kind of big brush strokes. Mostly strokes are vertical. I don't need to mix color really well on my palette. I'm just, picking tiny amount of yellow and brown, mixing a bit with white and spreading color on a canvas. Be sure you're really using now good amount of acrylic because we have to cover canvas really well. We have to feel all those tiny dots inside of canvas, if you know what I mean. So just use nice amount of paint and spread it everywhere. Now color not white, and we have to dry this first layer. I like this tone, it's really warm, so this warmness will be visible also on a final result. I'm using a hairdryer to make a process faster. Let's check if it's done. No, not yet. And now, yes, my hands absolutely clear when I'm trying to touch canvas. So we ready to move to the next step. I'm gonna use today natural bristle brush. I have two size brushes, big one and a smaller size. And consistency of paint, this is the most important. Now, I want to demonstrate to you consistency on a paper. It's just a usual A4 print paper. But look, when I'm trying to paint, I'm almost leaving no brush stroke on a paper. Half dry technique. That's what we need. And now imagine like you're trying to scratch canvas with your brush, and the brush will leave a little bit of color. Now it's just a clear burnt umber, and I'm creating layer of wood texture. And we have to follow direction of future wooden plank. As soon as it's a door, this door will have frame and vertical wooden planks. Now I will pick up smaller sized brush and will paint some details, but again, consistency, not watery at all. Technique is the same. I'm trying touch canvas very soft, like scratching. This is frame of the door. Also, now we can add a tiny amount of black and white. If consistency too watery, you have to leave extra paint on palette. And this is planks of the future door. Size of canvas today, not big, it's 15 centimeters each side. But trust me, it's enough to create good amount of details. This is a horizon plank. And here we also have light direction. Light direction for this composition I choose from the top. So top plank will cast shadow down on the wooden planks, vertical wooden planks. Here we'll have a shadow. And let's also add some details here. Plank on a top have a depth, and this part in the shadow. I'm not trying to get the full color, I mean those dark color from the first brush stroke. I'll better will make 2-3 strokes than just a one. This is the matter, because sometimes students, as I saw, they trying to add more water because half dry paint not giving good coverage. But again, my advice, if you really want to create wood texture, make 2-3 or even more brush strokes one by one, layer it one on top of another, and this way you'll get the really wood looking surface. Let's add a little bit of shadows from the top to the bottom. And again, I'm not creating dark color from the one go. It's lots of brush strokes and I'm touching canvas gently. Starting always from the darkest area and going to the lighter. Now I choose smaller brush, and it's another type of brush. It's synthetical, watercolor shaped, and that's the moment where we can add more water and we can create tiny details. It's a joints between different wood planks, and also its edges of some planks. For example, here now shape of this plank more visible, but still we already created wood texture and we're not trying to cover the whole part in a shadow. We're just creating more visible shape, more sharp shape of wooden plank here. I will add some more water. And let's also add volume and detail to these vertical wood planks. One by one. Don't be in a hurry. Lines here very thin. And lines irregular. This is the old door, so planks, I think it's have to be really old, so edges not very straight, not accurate, and those lines, joints lines, can be thicker or thinner. And one more. Now I will add more white. I already told you we have a frame, so planks of frame having depth. Color here need to be not too dark. Same on another side. And let's add depth, but now amount smaller amount of depth to edge of wooden planks. It's a very thin line, and I will paint it only on one side of each plank. Let's say on the left from the joint line. Now wood planks have more volume. When I'm painting, I'm using this kind of napkins. I really like it, especially for acrylic paints, to clean my brush, to remove extra paint from the brush. And now let's use just a clear white. Most of the time, white half transparent after each dry, so we don't need to add extra water in it. On this step, we can fix some of details we probably don't like. Imagine it could be some wrong lines, it could be some too dark details maybe. And also I'm adding light again for the volume. I'm adding a light to each wood plank, but this time shadow we created on the left side from the joint line, and light we're creating on the right side from the joint line. I will add a little bit of white here or there. I like how it's looking. It's really giving feeling of the old wood. not use it too much, and mostly it's vertical lines. Lines have to follow those direction that wood texture have naturally. I'm spreading a little bit with my finger. I will repeat the same, but with a bit of darker color. Again, following direction of wood texture. Here we have just one horizon plank on top, all others vertical. And remember, it's a background layer. All details, all interesting and sharp details, some color spots we will create later on top. So of course we can detail wood texture more and more. But now for this composition we don't need it. We already created good looking wood here, looking old, very interesting, so background will be not boring, not too empty. And this is how I like to create wood in general, with a dry brush technique and with dark color on top of white. That's how I demonstrate you from the start. Also, this background can be interesting if you just, want to create only one something, single object on your painting, for example, an apple. It's really looking different if you put just one apple on a table, white table, gray table, or on a wood table and have wooden background. That's how we created background. Also for candles we already painted, you can check it on my channel. We created red candles, Christmas composition. There on a background you can see dark wood texture, also created with a natural Bristol brush. And I wanna, who can, resist the wish to add a little bit more wood details? And here it's places. Imagine these planks before was just a tree, and from these spots here was branch growing from this spot. Very easy, isn't it? And looking so natural. Probably these tiny details that I just demonstrated to you how to create, we will cover completely with wreath and birds, but it's just looking nice now. And anyway, it's possible to use later, even if you will not create this composition exactly, maybe for future works. Next step, and this is moment where we need our sketch. I already shared to you tutorial how to create this sketch by your own, but also you can find it on my Patreon. This sketch ready to print on a usual A4 size print paper, then cut sketch you have there and transfer all lines. Usually I'm using pencil or maybe some color pen. This way I can understand which lines I already repeated and which I still need to follow. All sketch transferred now on a canvas, and we're starting with a red. As a red color I will use vermilion, but it's really up to you what red shade you will choose. I like this warm tone red. And now just fill area for future bird with a flat color. Red in acrylic, basically always transparent, half transparent, after it will dry, but don't worry, yes, some lines of wood plank will be visible behind first layer of red. We will fix it later. We will create details, feathers later. Now we have to, reserve area for future birds. Now I'm not painting different feathers or a wing, tail, nothing like that. It's just color that will help me to understand where I have to stop when I'm painting small tweaks. And just cover with the color, spread it, and again, let me repeat, don't be worried about those details from the background that's visible behind the bird. We will fix it later. Here we have two birds. One, it's a boy, red colored feathers, and another, it's gonna be a lady, cardinal. And this bird will have a different color for feathers. Also, we will add red feathers later for her. But now it's just color, I'd say it's a sand color. Warm, light brown. I mixed 3 colors for it. It's a yellow, medium yellow, it's vermilion, and burnt umber. If color will look too dark, you can add also a little bit of white. And again, we're not creating details right now. We're just reserving area for future bird. But we have to be accurate on this step, true. And another leg, like this. Next step, it's a tweaks for wreath. Colors. We will mix together some of burnt umber and black, lamb black, but I'm not mixing these two very well on my palette. I just put it together, close to each other, and I'm picking 2 colors in one move. And I'm creating random twigs and branches. Lines can be thicker, thinner, not regular, but basically we're following round shape that we created on a sketch. With these big branches and twigs, don't cross lines of sketch, those round shape. We will do it later, but with much thinner twigs. Don't try to analyze what twig going to where it's connecting or crossing another one, because on top of it we will paint snow that will cover connections and cross lines. So it's just a random pattern of lines. Very easy to create because we don't need to be too accurate here. Natural shapes can look so different. But color, yes, we need contrast color, dark. And let's complete this shape, round shape. All lines I'm creating, they are we're continuing using the same mix from palette, and we have to fill those empty areas between twigs and branches. At this moment, at this step, you also can fix some lines that possibly you don't like, it can be. If you think some twigs and branches looking too thick, At this moment you can fix it. Just cover with the color we're painting right now. It's have white inside, so this shade have nice coverage. And just go every between dark lines in the middle of them. Basic shape done for our wreath. Let's detail it. This is my line brush. It's also calling, at least I saw at stores. It has a title, one stroke brush number 0, can be number 1. And I already demonstrated this brush so many times in so many ways of using. This brush needs more watery consistency of paint. So you can see I added much more water now on a mix of black and brown. And we're painting tiny details. Now we're going out of the shape, of the main shape of wreath, with a tiny, very gentle tweaks. Lines can be, again, irregular, curvy. Also, I'm detailing branches on wreath better. Because now I already can understand, can see what lines looking well and what lines I don't need to repeat. Maybe I didn't like it, you know. Remember our birds sitting also on a twig. We have to paint this twig. See, I'm continued line and now looking like this bird really sitting on a place. This step not fast, so take your time. Even if size of canvas small, so it's less work for us, but we have to create those tiny twigs everywhere, all the way around, outside and inside of the wreath. Some small twigs can go on an opposite direction, cross to another's. This brush so small, so tiny, so you can see how many times I have to go back to my palette and pick more color and more color and more color from palette. But if you will follow this step with just a normal brush, not with a long bristle but with a short one, trust me, you will need to pick up more color and more color even faster, more times. Short bristle can handle really tiny amount of paint, so that's not possible to create long lines with just a normal type of brushes. But this type of brushes line brush, or also, as I told you, one stroke brush. These ones can handle bigger amount of paint on it, so lines created with these brushes can be much longer. It's just easier to use a proper tools. Of course, artist, if he have experience, can repeat any tutorial with just a single brush, no matter what it is. But again, I just want to explain to you easiest ways to get nice looking result. And one of tricks, of course, it's a proper tool using. Also, some effects not possible to get with a different tool. For example, the most bright example, I'd say it's palette knife. We can imitate those strokes with the brushes, but we can't create exact look. With experience, we will know our tools better and better, and as soon as you will take a look on some detail, you will understand what type of brush, what type of tool you have to use at this moment for this detail. Some small tweaks can go out of the edge of canvas, and we will repeat it on a left side and a right side of the wreath, not just on the top. Let's cross edge of canvas on the left. Just continue some tiny tweaks till you hit the edge of canvas, and we will do the same on the right side. Let's use this effect also on the bottom part. This is a very interesting way because it's connecting background and a foreground together. Here we have no middle ground at all, kind of easy composition, and to connect two parts together we will just continue those tiny lines and continue it till the end, crossing the edge of canvas. My favorite part here is the snow. Very important, you have to dry tweaks because color really dark on them. You have to dry. If it's not dried yet, use hair dryer again. I don't need it because as I can see now, all lines now are dried because layer of acrylic was very thin. It's just a clear titanium white. Snow we have to paint on top of branches, just on top, you know. And remember, white can look half transparent also after it's dry, so at some moment, at some points, we will need double layers of white. We have more snow on a horizon surface and less on a vertical. So when our wreath going up on the left and right, there we have less white lines, and on top and at bottom of this round shape we have more snow. Look now, our wreath have much more volume. Yes, we already had cast shadow, but we had no light on the twigs and branches, and now when we have a snow on top, this detail really got it, have volume. Snow everywhere on top. Don't be in a hurry on this step as well, because even if process not tricky, not hard, still we have to be accurate, because some lines, some twigs so tiny, we have to put snow but leave tiny twigs visible under it. I told you, for crystal white, for really shiny white, we have to add second or even third layer of titanium white on top. And let's continue. You can skip tiny tweaks right now because brush, kind of big. For this type of brush strokes, we will add snow on a very tiny lines later with line brush. Let's see. Some snow here. The most of snow, of course, will be on top of wreath. White snow looking so fresh. Brushwork now looking kinda similar, so I don't need to comment a lot here, but I don't wanna speed up video and I don't wanna cut some of process because I wanna demonstrate to you the whole of it. This way I believe you can understand better, you can plan better how much time you need for this painting to complete. I'd say not less than 1 hour and 15-20 minutes, and if you are a beginner it can take till 2 hours, because usually when we just starting to learn something, when for example paints are new for us and maybe we don't have a proper brushes, we have to choose another from those we have at the moment. So this way we spending more time. And also remember, I really recommend to do short breaks at least each hour or each 40 minutes. Neck, shoulders and hands getting tired, and also our eyes getting tired. If we getting tired, we can't see really well where we have to stop on a detailing especially, so that's why so easy over detail something right in the end. And also I recommend, as closer we are to the final result, as more often we have to take a look on a canvas on our painting from the distance. It's a rule that I have from the art school. Issue of over detailing, well known for me, and I really had a lot of problems with it. And one of the ways to prevent this moment, it's a checking from the distance time by time. So my teacher told me each in the end, when everything almost done, each 10 minutes, touched something, changed something a little bit, put painting far from you, 1 meter or even more if painting bigger, and check if it's looking good from the distance. If nothing changed, probably you had to skip what you did, right? Because it's not visible at all. And some details looking even worse from the distance. It's ruining, let's say like this, common view, balanced view. Detailing, we have to concentrate only at point of view, and here wreath, it's not the point, not the center of view. We will create it later on a birds. So here we don't need, really create well detailed snow, all connections well between snow and tiny twigs. We can skip some elements even. Now, I like how it's looking. Some brush strokes looking not that accurate. This is I like, actually. Very light. And I will add some tiny lines, twigs without any snow on it. Mostly on the bottom, under the wreath. their snow couldn't follow. And one or two maybe here. And you know what? I don't like area on the right side from the ladybird. I don't know how to call birds here, because here when I'm living we would call them he and a she, but as I know from the English, if it's birds, cats, dogs, any animals, it's always it. So I don't know how to name gender proper here. If it's a lady bird and maybe female bird, male bird, for me it's easier to call them she and a he, but probably it's a mistake on the language. Don't know really how to name them. Maybe a lady cardinal and Mr. Cardinal. And maybe a Lord Cardinal. Lord and a lady, Mr. and a Mrs. A Miss Cardinal. Oh, really so difficult to me. Some things easier to paint but harder to command. Let me know on the comments how you would call them. I'm so enjoying painting wreath. I just, I can't stop. Someone needs to stop me. Those tiny lines looking so pretty. Okay, let's move to the next step. We will have berries, red berries, and even if those details tiny, berries have a lot of meaning here because it's balancing red colored cardinal bird. As I told you from the start, only a boy, male, Mr., have here red colors, feathers. A girl have a brown, mostly a little bit of red on the ends of the tail, on the ends of the wings, a little bit of red, but still to create balanced look we have to add more red spots everywhere. I don't like idea to create too much of berries, but a little bit really helping. Look, now composition looking well balanced. And we're moving to the next step, and we're starting from the basic shape. The beard body have egg shape. Those who create with me sketch, I already explained a lot how to create it, and now we just need to add more volume on it. So we starting from the darkest areas. It's a line under the head. It's a shadow under the wing. Also, cardinal have black feathers around a nose. Also, this black area going around an eyes. You can use here just a clear black. Contrasted, interesting looking detail, so yeah. Here, under the wing, you can use almost black color. We have so many contrasted details on a wreath, so of course here under the wing, black looking good. Also, it's a shadow between wing and a tail, and lines of feathers on a wing. This is the basic shape of a cardinal. Right now you already can see different spots of bird. Let me correct a little bit of wing shape. And I told you we will need to fix issue with a transparent red here. To cover lines behind a bird, we need to add white to the red, mix color together, and I will cover, especially those areas where wood planks visible through the bird, I will cover with a mix of vermilion and white. Any color plus white always have better coverage than just a clear color. Later we will color bird body with a clear vermilion, but as soon as we already have nice coverage as a previous layer, color of body will look very, very bright, very colorful. And we have to wait till this layer will dry. Let me add a little bit more here on a head and spread well. And maybe here. Good boy. I like how he's looking right now. A little bit of frozen because we used white in a mix with a red, right? And the shadow under the tail. As I can see now, I covered all wood planks really well. Okay, as soon as we have here a pair of birds, I have a lady also. I don't using hair dryer right now. I will wait a little bit, and in this time I will paint another bird. Color mixing, same as we used before, and yellow color here, giving touch of warm color to the mix. I'm covering all bird with the second layer. Now let me add dark color and create black feathers on a wing of a lady. Cardinal girls have a different color of feathers. They have red nose. They have the same black around nose and on the eye areas, but basic color sand, as I told you. Also red feathers they have on ends of wings, ends of a tail. Also ladies have feathers on a head, pointy feathers, and ends of it red colored as well. As you can see now, I added black color in the middle of the wing and a red color on the end of the wing. Shadow the same as I created on a boy, darkest area under the wing Here we have just one wing visible for us. Red color we adding on a head, on the top of it, and on a tail. Nose also have a bit of red color. Now let's add light. I will go with a lighter color around the shape of bird here. And also here I wanna to show you how possible to create fluffy feathers with the same type of brushes that we use for wood texture. For this moment we will create a lady darker than we need in the end, and we will add very light feathers with a dry brush technique and a natural bristle brush in the end. And I hope you will see the difference between red boy, sand colored girl, and you will choose those way of painting you will like more. A little bit of lighter feathers also on a wing. There we will have no light and tiny feathers on the ends of wings, so here we have to add feathers with just a brush. Don't forget to add also red color here on a wing. Very beautiful bird. Also on my Patreon you can find some photo references for these birds. You can go check there where and what colors feathers these birds have. I will clean my brush now because I wanna mix very light shade. It's a light yellow. And let's add some light on the feathers. We have snow around, so of course feathers will have reflections on them. Yellow, I think it's too much, so I also mixed a bit of red in it. Color looking more creamy now. But again, remember about this one, about girl, I will leave it very dark and will add top layer of fluffy feathers later in very end of tutorial. Also we will have reflection here. About male, here interesting moment. And this moment we have to remember when we're working with red color. We will talk much more about it on a next tutorial. I'm planning to create red rose. When we trying to mix lighter color than just a red, we adding white in it, and in the end we're getting pink color. And if we will use too much pink, for example, for the male bird, I will create reflections with a pink color. Bird in the end will look not red. Boy cardinal will look as a pink bird. This is moment only about red color. And this is why I think red rose, the most tricky color of the rose we want to create. That's why for February a special tutorial for St. Valentine's Day, I picked up red colored rose. I add a tiny, very small dot. It's an eye, looking contrasted enough because we already put there black color. Light on a nose. Yeah, more visible now. I will create dark line between in the center of the nose here. Time to paint small details, right? Pointy feathers here may be too long. I'll check it later. Maybe I'll fix a shape of it in the end. Remember about reflection. Color, it's more like light sand, mix of yellow, brown and white. Same color I will use for small legs of a bird and darker color here for volume. Look, as soon as I'm picking up my line brush, I have to add more water on acrylic because line brush can't paint with a very creamy consistency of acrylic. If we painting with a shorter bristle brushes, it's possible to use color without water, just as we have it from the tube. My red colored bird already dried completely, and look what we have to do. Now we used pink color mix of red and white to create better coverage, and on the next layer we have to color with a clear red on top. This way we have nice coverage but also very bright and catchy red color. As soon as we added good amount of color, we're ready to work on a volume details. It's a touch of pink stripes on the feathers on a wing. Again, it's a reflection of light. A little bit on top of the back. I'm mostly painting with the stripes, tiny stripes, trying to get a look of feathers here. And let's create some of feathers on the tail also. And on top I'll mix clear red. Again, we have to keep red color. We try not to use too much pink. blending colors a little bit here. Now colors blending really well because we have good amount of acrylic on the previous layers, so all colors on top of it blending easily. I will add light also on top feathers on a head, light on a nose, dark line in the center of the nose with a line brush, because detail here so small, shadow under the nose, little dot as an eye, red dot and a white dot. And a little bit of light on the end of the tail. Let's also add shadows on the legs here and a bit of light. I will mix red and black together, and also I'll create a shadow on the berries. Now berries looking too flat, we have to create volume for them as well. Go one by one and create shadow on bottom of each berry. I will also add more red, clear red, as a second layer, because red transparent, and on some berries I can see small twigs as underlayer. Also tiny light dot on each berry. Just follow one by one, don't miss any. Like this. Also, don't forget to cover berries with snow. Put snow on each small berry. Looking like our birds gonna have a breakfast, right? So tasty. Small round berries on a wreath. And here I missed one more. Let me check. I told you, I think pointy feathers on a head of lady was too long. I corrected it a little bit. Also, I added more light on the legs. And I promise to you demonstrate 2 ways to detail feathers. We will use half dry brush. This is a small sized brush, almost smallest I have of this type. And consistency again have to be very very dry, consistency of paint. If you have too watery color from the tube, for example, you can mix it on palette and color will get less water. You mix, so extra water going into the air, you're getting drier consistency. Okay, I wanna remove tape that fixing my canvas. Now we can see result clear, and let's create final detailing for the lady. Color, it's a sandy color. It's a mix of yellow, white and a tiniest amount of brown. Dry brush again. And imagine you're going on a shape, you're following shape lines for the bird. Chest, the most light area. And we adding light lines on top. Touch canvas gently. You always can. Layer and layer. So better not to put too much color with one go. Touch gently. Go back, check if you like it or you want to create more fluffy feathers. Add more if you need to, but look, these two birds looking really different. I think lady looking more fluffy and red cardinal have feathers. They looking like a little bit bigger, not those tiny as a lady have. But it's up to you what way of detailing you will choose for your own birds, what look you prefer. If you like to see bigger feathers, like more detailed, each one by one, better go for just the round brushes. If you like fluffy effect, use dry brushes on top of darker colors. That's it. Now I like how my bird looking. I will add some extra light on the body, chest and part of the back, where back connecting to the head. This is two of the lightest areas for this bird. There we have light and reflections from the snow. I already added my sign. It's a small-sized painting, so my sign also very small, just the two first signs of my name and the surname. And also, I still like more fluffy look for a bird, so I couldn't evade and not to touch a little bit with a dry brush for my red colored boy Cardinal. Now he look adorable, so beautiful. I like this kind of birds. And that's it for today. If you still have questions, don't be shy to ask me here on the comments. Also, I will wait your paintings. Please share it to me through the Facebook or Patreon. Also, you can add it in Instagram. Don't forget to put hashtag PaintyKat. I wish you all the best, my dear friends, and I'll see you on my next tutorials. Bye bye.